Hold
Can you hear me? Oh my goodness.
Wait, I
What
can't
does he
hear him.
want?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, there we go. I got you now.
Oh man. Hang up on that man.
Yeah, Zach, I gotta go. We don't have Zoom Premium.
We don't have Zoom Premium here. We're on a time crunch. Started the recording. Man.
We gotta get going. All right, Zach, I'll talk to you. Go Steelers. Go Steelers. All right,
Go
I'll talk to you.
Steelers, baby. Oh man.
What's up, dude?
Not only are we on a time crunch because we don't have Zoom Premium,
We
but
gotta watch some
also
football.
the Steelers game is in 45 minutes. So gotta watch some football. Steelers Titans, which is a little bit of it's hard for me being here in Nashville. A lot of
Oh,
people,
I didn't even think of that.
obviously Titans fans,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be interesting when I show up in my Steelers jersey and there's a bunch of Titans people there.
Wait, are you going to the game? Wait, where's
No, I'm
Oh,
meeting with some friends at a restaurant tonight
oh,
to
nice.
watch the game.
Nice.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we have another very close friend of mine, colleague, played 4 years of collegiate volleyball with this man, even though he's 2 years younger than me. Um,
You didn't have to age yourself with
grad,
that one.
grad school. um, this is someone who was an All-American middle, part of the first class of Messiah volleyball, who was were our first All Americans was that year. He was
Mhm.
ABCA All Region that year. But the funny thing was, yes, he was an All American, but he was second team All Conference
Yes,
that
sir.
year
Don't you
as
forget
well.
it.
So he has done the impossible, which doesn't make sense. None other than Nate Bowman, one of the greatest middles to go through the program. Nate, welcome. It's a pleasure to
Thank
have
you.
you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to this.
I wanted to start things off a little bit with some hot seat, a little 2 minute drill.
I figured something like that was going to be on its way. So let's get this
Um,
over with.
yeah, to those who don't know, hot seat is a big thing that we do as a team, just for our incoming freshmen, but either seniors as well. Anyone that we go through, we just put them up there. Rules of this are simple. I'll limit this to 2 minutes, because we're crunched on time. But I have some questions for you that you have to answer. You get one pass. You know the rules.
hmm
So we'll get started. Let me get the timer out, um, and we'll get going. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Favorite sport?
Well, you're not going to start with the number one question?
Oh, crunchy or smooth? You're right.
Crunchy, extra crunchy.
I didn't, man. I've been out of the
Yeah,
game
you
too
come
long.
on, you're
Extra
outdated.
crunchy.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Favorite sport?
Favorite sport to play or to watch?
Both.
To watch hockey, to play volleyball.
Okay. Okay. Favorite movie?
American Sniper.
Favorite athlete?
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go with Arnold Schwarzenegger on that one.
Oh man. Best Messiah men's volleyball memory.
Um, NCAA's were fun for both years that we went, but probably that first one in Roanoke when we were in the bubble, that one just stands out a lot. It was just a very close team, and we were kind of forced to be around each other the whole time, and we we made it a very special time together. So,
That's true. Who's been most inspirational person in your life?
ooh, well, that's a good. I'm gonna have to say my dad. Yeah, for a lot more reasons than one, but I'll just limit it
What's
at that
been
for now.
Yeah. What's been a big challenge you've had to overcome?
Um, Christianity outside of Messiah College, and like in the real world, if you want to put some quotes on that. But
Do you have any nicknames? If so, how'd you get them?
Bobo, that one actually came from Cole Johnson and Kevin Duffy when we played. We played on a regional team, KRVA. I roomed with the two of them in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they nicknamed me Nene Bobo. And then Bobo just kind of stuck, and then that's everyone that I played volleyball with after that just called me Bobo.
Oh, great. And last question. Why are you a Ravens fan?
Dude, my sports teams are all over the place.
They really are.
I'm a Bruins fan, hockey,
Yeah.
Dodgers fan for baseball, but then like football, it's
Hmm.
like Penn State and Ravens. Like they're local for the most part, but I don't know. It's just I've never liked the Steelers, so I might as well go to the Ravens. And the Eagles is just out of the question. So yeah,
Gotcha. Well, hey, you survived the 2 minutes. I'm glad
that
the
was a
Eagles are
lot.
out of the question.
Yeah,
Eagles are out
for
of the
sure.
question too,
That
which is
was
good.
never up for debate.
No one likes them.
Yeah,
Yeah, honestly, they're yeah,
it's just
they're like they're
Kelly Green. It just doesn't look good. I don't know.
it doesn't look good, and they're the type of people that do like one cool thing in life and never let you forget it.
That's yep. That's all they talk about. I
All they
do
talk
enjoy
about.
watching them play. They're a fun team to watch.
Hmm.
And if they make a good postseason run, I'm not. I won't lie. Maybe I'll cheer for them a little bit, but
Have you
yeah,
seen the Kelsey documentary on Amazon Prime?
I have not. No,
So it follows
I have a
Jason
couple
Kelsey.
documentaries to watch for football. I heard the Manziel one was good, Johnny Manziel, and
Hmm.
then wasn't there just an overall quarterbacks one on Netflix?
Yep,
Yeah, I heard that
there's
one
one.
was good too.
Gotta catch up.
I
Gotta
know. I'm
catch up.
behind. I'm behind.
Hey, well, Nate, we're excited to have you on this. Can you fill us in where you're at right now?
Like physically, or like
Physically, job wise,
okay, yeah.
yes, a
So
life update.
graduated Messiah 2023 this past spring. Living in Elizabethtown with my wife. We got married July 22nd, so pretty much right after school.
Woohoo.
Um, moved into E-Town. She's working up at Hershey Medical Center. I'm working down in York as a project manager for a construction company called New Tech. Um, did I hit it all? Anything else I'm missing?
No, you hit it all.
Okay.
How far are you from Beachy?
Well, he just moved recently,
Right.
so I don't know. I've seen him at
Okay.
a couple of Messiahman soccer games here and there,
Yeah.
but like his parents used to live in E-Town. I remember just always going to their house for dinner before games in E-Town, but they don't live here anymore, so we got to hold down the fort for them.
Dang.
Yeah.
And do you have a dog? Is that correct?
No, we don't.
No.
We can't because we're renting right now, so it's in our contract that we can't. So that's the one thing. She's like, if we get a house sooner, we can get a dog sooner. I was like, yeah, trust me, I know.
Dang, yeah.
That's it.
Gotta work
Yeah,
harder. I know that.
exactly.
I know that, man.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Well, I had the pleasure, like I said earlier, playing with Nate for 4 years. Got to know him well. His now wife, Liv, is just unbelievable woman. She's great. She's joyful, and she is just perfect for you in many ways.
Yeah.
Just want to kind of start with going back to your freshman year, incoming to Messiah. Um, did you kind of picture yourself leaving Messiah that senior year? Like, did you have that expectation? Did you know, hey, like this is who I would be in 4 years? Or were you kind of just thrown through a loop like, hey, I had no idea that this program or this place or this experience would be as it was?
Yeah, no, it's I'll kind of take it back a little bit before freshman year, just kind of coming in. It was I saw college volleyball for all the wrong reasons. I kind of just wanted it to, hey, I got multiple college offers to play collegiate athletics, and that'd be really cool on my resume. That would make me stand out from the athletes that I played with in high school. So I'm going to take advantage of that. And then obviously the brotherhood that Masai is and everything like that, it kind of flipped my view of that a full 360 there, and kind of learned that I was playing for more than just my statistics and the fact that I was taking my skills to the next level type thing and playing for, like we say always the audience of one. But yeah, it completely flipped everything around. Never would have expected that's how my 4 years would have went, and that's the way that I'm going to come out at the end of those 4 years. But I couldn't have asked for a better college experience with that. So
If you could pick apart like one or two things that you feel like you've kind of taken with you, I mean, you're fresh out of school. You're into the real world, as you said, for
mhm.
only a couple months. Like, have you seen those things impact how you integrate into your job, into marriage? Like, are there lessons that you've taken from that? Or is this kind of a new phase of life where like everything's new and I'm just experiencing it for the first time?
A little bit of both. I think I mean, I was always a Christian, like growing up and everything like that, but the church presence in my life wasn't always there. It wasn't like an every Sunday thing. Like sports kind of took over with tournaments, with travel ball and this and that. It kind of filled up our schedule quickly as a family, and that we kind of got away from going to church every Sunday as a family or this or that. And so kind of just getting back into that Messiah culture where it's, oh, let's go to church as a team, let's go to church as like a small group or something like that. Kind of taking that and incorporating that into my new life, like I said, in the real world. It's a staple that Liv and I have in our marriage at this point, and we found a local church not too far away from here, and it's been pretty good to start digging our roots in there, starting contributing there and everything like that. So I'd say that's one aspect where Messiah kind of got me back on track, and now I'm bringing that into this new age of life here. So
Do you see the challenge of finding a new community as a young couple, or are you still pretty connected with a lot of people from Messiah?
a little bit of both, because well, like Ben and Cass, I feel like I'm talking to you, but like some people don't know who those people are.
Yeah.
Cass was my one of my wife's best friends, and they just bought a house a mile and a half from us. So it's like they're going to be here, and we like see them on weekends. We go to, like I said, men's soccer games where Ben plays. So we still have all those, and like obviously just before this, I was on the phone with Zach. So like we still have those
Yeah.
connections, but nobody in E Town yet.
Hmm.
So that has
Yeah.
been a little bit of a challenge, yeah. But like the first time when we kind of went searching for churches when we moved here, and this place, once we went there the first time, it was kind of, it's a little bit of a smaller church, especially compared to like West Shore, which
Yeah.
most Messiah students are used to. And it was kind of just like, oh, you're new. We haven't seen you before. Like, who are you? Introduce yourself, type thing. And we had like three or four families come up to us on the first day, and it was just like, this is completely new. Let's do this here, type thing. And it's like we haven't really met anyone our age yet. So I mean, that's a little bit of a struggle here and there, but we'll work it out, type thing. But
Yeah. What are some ways? I mean, you're kind of just fresh into it, but maybe for some younger guys listening to this, like what's a good routine? What are some good disciplines that you've incorporated into one marriage, but also work life? I mean, does that look like exercise? Does that look like waking up early before work, just getting set for the day, or is it just like what are some good disciplinary things that you've kind of incorporated into your
yeah,
life now
that's well, it's a little
or
bit
learning
different.
to?
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's a little bit different just with living with my wife now. I mean, obviously, it's still very fresh to both of us, but we're kind of both learning how to coincide with one each other, whatever. And so we're both kind of like trying to figure that out at the same time. But it's early mornings, late nights, just trying to get both of us on schedule. And with her being a nurse, it's maybe she works 3 days in a row and then has 4 days off, or 2 days on with a space in between. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
her schedule isn't as set as mine, where mine's Monday through Friday. And it's kind of just like figure out like, oh, we have time together Thursday night this week, but we don't won't see each other until Monday morning after that, or something like that. So it's still up in the air. We're still getting used to it, but I mean, it is what it is. So
Yeah. And you are just a big advocate for working out. I mean, I
I
can
am.
say I like, going into college for me, I was a 155 pound soaking wet.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, obviously, you get into collegiate lifting program, you start to add a little muscle. Then here comes Mr. Bobo, Bobo Fitness,
Yes,
and he
sir.
starts teaching me these ways of the bodybuilding. How did you get into bodybuilding? And are you still doing that stuff, or are you
Oh,
finding time to
that's a
do that?
silly question. That's a silly question, Matt.
Okay.
Yes, I'm still doing that.
Yes, still doing it.
Yes.
All right. How'd you get into it?
Yeah, so that actually is pretty much because of volleyball. It's like my freshman year was when we got sent home from COVID. So we went through our whole fall season into spring season, and it was like go, go, go. I was jumping 500 times at practice every day, and then lifting 2, 3 times a week with aroma and everything like that. And then just in the blink of an eye, nothing anymore. And it's just like, what the heck do I do now?
Yeah.
Um, and like the Christmas, either the Christmas before or two Christmases before, my dad got my brother and I like a standard bench and barbell for the basement. And then when COVID hit, it was just like, I guess I'll like try to stay in shape because maybe I'm going back to school in 2 weeks. Like you never know.
Yeah.
Um, and then we like went and raided my grandfather's attic for like all of his old dumbbells, like the old adjustable ones. And we
Yeah.
brought them all to our basement and it kind of turned into like the neighborhood gym. So my brother and his friends would come over and we just like lift in the basement and then it kind of
Let's
just took
go.
off from that. Yeah. And then when we got back that next fall, it was like, oh, now I have a full gym back at my side. I was just like, let's see what else is out there. And it just kind of never stopped. And especially now with like volleyball being over, it's just like, what am I supposed to do? Like to stay active.
Yeah.
I've tried running here and there, but that just doesn't go well with me. So I'll stick to my
I
weight.
I remember because I mean, obviously that year COVID cut our season short,
Hmm.
and then I didn't come back that fall. I took that
Right.
semester off.
Yep.
And so then I get back in the spring. I see you in person. I'm just like, who is this guy? Like,
Dude, there were multiple. I remember vividly. It was Grant Johnson. I had just come down from the gym. It was like an arm day or something. I was like wearing like I mean, obviously I was still like pretty small at that point, but I was like wearing a stringer or something, like leaving the gym.
yeah.
And he was like,
Hmm.
"Dude, are you on steroids?" I'm like, "No, like no, I'm not on steroids." But just like hearing that, I'm just like, "Am I really growing that much?" Like I never would have guessed it. Like looking in the mirror day by day, I didn't really see a
Hmm.
change, but I'll get memories come up on Snapchat and it was like, "Who the heck is
Yeah.
that kid?"
Can you speak to the discipline it takes to like kind of do something like that? Because I think a lot of people are just like, oh, this guy goes in and does like arms and chests, every
Hmm.
day. Like, no, there's a lot more that like I kind of learned from you that goes into that, from basically what you're eating to
Yeah.
like any pre-workout or like protein shakes or that stuff to the splits to what you're doing in the gym. Can you kind of speak to that? Because I think when people hear like bodybuilding, it's just like
Yeah.
guys who are just going to the gym to just get big.
Get
Um,
big as possible. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd say definitely the biggest part is just nutrition. Just being
okay.
mindful of what you put into your body. I mean, obviously, like when you start working out, you're not going to know what's good for you, what's bad for you. Like you might hear like the standard chicken and rice and like a vegetable. Like, but I mean, that's when you learn to break it down, like proteins, fats, carbs, and your macros, and it's just like it all kind of makes sense after a certain time. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, just as much protein as you can, healthy fats, easily digested carbs. But I mean, yeah, at the same time, it's not just nutrition. It's dedication. It's rep after rep. It's you can't go in one day and expect results. Kind of like what I just alluded to, like a
Hmm.
day by day, looking in the mirror. I'm not going to see results, but when you see a Snapchat memory from 5 years ago, it's like, oh yeah, I guess I have put on some size there, or this or that. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, speaking of
Yeah.
Snapchat memories, one came up. I don't think it was like on this date a couple years ago, but it was like one of the random ones. It was
Okay.
when you and I stopped lifting in the morning, and you drove me back to my apartment, and you played that one song from Fast and Furious. Do you
Oh,
remember that?
see you again, or see, it's been a
Yes, yeah,
long
that
day.
one. And I
Yeah.
was just like, that came up. I had to laugh at that one. I should have sent it to you, but
Is that when you were walking away or
yeah.
when I
I
was
was like
playing
getting out
that?
of your
Yeah.
car. You like blasted it at like 6 o'clock in the morning. This guy.
That was good. Oh man, good old 6 a.m. and then
Yeah.
you left that group, and then I was going by myself at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
for a while, and then
Yeah, but I mean, see, like you still kept going, so
yeah,
you can attest to dedication day by day as just as much as I can.
day by day. Was there ever like a point as you started getting into that where you're like, okay, it would be easy to just kind of like take this day off? Because I remember just being in your apartment on campus at times, you're like, I still got to work out today, and you're like leaving at 8 o'clock
Yeah.
at night. Um, so like, how did you keep yourself accountable for that?
Phew. I guess that still would have been in my like honeymoon phase, if you want to call it that, with the gym,
Mhm.
where it's just like that's all you think about type
Yeah.
thing. But I mean, like even today would be a great example of that. Like I had legs today, and my legs are still sore from the last leg day. So
Hmm.
I didn't go and squat as much as I can. I just did like some light machine work and rolled out afterwards and like went for a walk on the treadmill and just kind of got blood flowing. So I think that's also another thing. Once you start to progress a little bit more, it's like don't kill yourself every single day. Like your body
Right.
needs to recover and to grow in the end. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like I guess that was just kind of one thing that was always built into me is if you can go, might as well do it. So
Might as well do it. And important thing there, mate, you still do legs, which a lot of
I
guys.
do, I do. Yes, probably not as much as I should, but especially with volleyball out of my life, it's yeah, you got to keep going.
You got to keep going.
Yep.
Oh man, no, that's great. And I think, I mean, anything from like athletics to weightlifting, there's a certain discipline there. There's certain, even though it seems so simple, there are so many things that you can kind of apply to. I'm sure just work. Like, got to get done. Got to do it
Hmm.
every day.
Yeah.
Like, if this is something you're serious about, kind of want to go back and talk a little bit. I pulled up. I was looking at your career stats and pull up some crazy three different games. You mentioned it a little bit about the bubble. First, before we get into this
I,
game,
okay.
I just want to.
Okay, so I was before you even get into that, I was prepping. I was like, what the heck is he gonna ask me to like talk about? I was like, I feel like I should like know a little bit about my stats or something like that. So I looked up stats last night. So I know exactly where you're going with this, but
Um,
I don't want to ruin it. So go ahead.
it was our first time winning the conference championship, which that in itself was crazy.
Oh,
At home, no fans. We were down 2-0 in the conference championship, won the next three
yep.
sets. So reverse sweep against Stevenson that year. And then we're
Stevenson.
going
Yep.
to Salem, Virginia, correct? Is that where it was?
Correct. Yep. Yep.
Um, and it was still like figuring out this pandemic stuff. So we were in this bubble almost. Can you like explain that whole situation?
Oh, yeah. It was just COVID test up your nose after COVID test after COVID test. And then it was sweaty masks that you'd get yelled at if it wasn't covering everything. And then you'd have Mason who'd wear around his chin and not get yelled at once. And, I still never understood that, but Mason did his own thing and he got away with it. But yeah, that bubble, that
National
was
Player of
fun.
the Year.
Yeah,
National
I
Player
know.
of the
It's
Year.
you
I
get
mean,
an asterisk by that after. Yeah,
yeah,
he's fine. He can do what he wants. I mean, if he keeps playing like that, it's yeah, whatever.
that's all right.
Yeah, but the bubble, that was I mean, everyone like we had to be like socially distanced with like even our team, but we could like be in each other's hotel rooms. But I don't know. It was just protocol that we had to follow,
Yeah.
and most people did. Um, but yeah, it was like we showed up to the arena that we played at, got tested. We all stood 6 feet apart until we all got our negative tests, and then we could go practice and like actually touch a volleyball. But
Yeah.
then as soon as volleyball was over, it was like mask up right away and go eat in your hotel room or whatever and do that. It was just like it was so weird. It was a different time. But I
It
mean,
was,
we
yeah, go
go
for it.
ahead. Go
I was just
ahead.
saying, it's so interesting, but the setup was unreal.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
yeah.
it was just this amazing arena,
Wait,
which on
hold
the
on.
outside
Can I
looked
share my
like,
screen?
yeah, go for it. It looked like a
Oh,
rundown
oh
building,
no.
but then
You have
inside
it.
this, how do I?
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. I
I
don't have to show it. But actually my computer is like the picture. I think Matt Schaefer's dad took the picture of like all
okay,
of us like during the national anthem, like looking at the flag. Oh,
yeah.
that's my wallpaper on my computer. It's sick. That's like one of my favorite pictures ever.
Um, Allowed to record local files. Is that might be it? Try it again. I'm not a Zoom expert, or else I'd have the premium version.
Maybe it is premium or something because you're recording, but
Uh,
I'll take a picture and send it to you just so you can reference it
yeah,
if you want to. But yeah,
it's
no,
sweet. It's just
that's one of my favorite pictures. That was a very cool convention center that we played in. I mean, it was weird because like the stands weren't filled because you couldn't really come watch, but
mhm.
that place was still really cool.
Yeah, we were allowed like 2 tickets per person or something like
Yeah,
that. I don't know,
yeah.
but our
But
first
once
game.
again, Mason's whole family still showed up. Like that's what I mean. Like they just find a
I know.
way.
NPOY National Player of the Year.
Exactly.
Again, asterisk by that.
Yep. Yep.
No, for sure. But our first game we play Fontbonne, which are
Come
they the
on.
Griffins? I don't remember.
Something like that.
Um,
Yeah.
And this was just an offensive display from both sides,
Hmm.
where us for the first set, we won pretty handily. Second set, they won pretty handily. And it was just back and forth, 5 set
Hmm.
thriller. Fifth set, we kind of pulled away a little bit, but it was just like both teams were hitting like 400
Oh,
and players were just popping off left and right. So that either speaks to just our terrible defense or just how good the offenses were.
offense was, yeah.
But I mean, you looked up, I guess, your stats that game, but this was your career high in number of kills that match.
Number of kills.
Do you remember how many?
Oh, I don't know how many kills. I know at one point, I think it was during the fourth set, I came off the bench and Matt Marshall, like, he's like, "Do you know how well you're hitting right now?" I was like, "Don't tell me." I was like, "Don't tell me. You're just gonna screw it up." He's like, "I wasn't going to, but I was just like asking if you did." And then I think at that point I was hitting like 667 or something. I don't know what I finished at, but I don't think I
But
finished that high.
I think you were up there. I think you were like 600,
Yeah,
and you had 21 kills.
21. Yeah, that's
And
pretty
that
good.
was the game that Bowman's Corner.
Bowman's corner. Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Well, I mean, I don't do a good Rob Wingard impression, but I just remember going back and watching video on that. Just their libero just didn't play there, and I just kept hitting it there. Or like, I mean, they weren't all hits, but like some tips, some throws, or whatever. The ball just landed back in that corner, and Rob Winger just Bobo's
Yep.
corner, Bowman's corner. There
Which
it is.
corner
There
was
it is.
that?
That was the
Five,
deep
six.
five, deep five,
Deep
six.
five,
Yeah,
six. Literally
yeah,
every single ball you hit was to the
yeah,
deep 5, 6. Like it just worked.
yeah.
Um, and that's where the term Bobo's corner, Bowman's corner,
Bowman's
was
corner.
trademarked. Yeah, that is. We have a patent on that. I'm sure
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere where he'll keep referencing that to this day. But I remember that game. It was fun. I mean, we ran a couple of 31s from like 15 feet off the net,
Yep, yep.
and it was nasty.
There were
Um,
some balls where I was like, "There's no way he's sending me here," but I know Matt Marshall's going to yell at me if I'm not in the air. And lo and behold, the ball's going right to my arm. It's like, "All right, let's hit deep five
Here it
six. Here we
goes.
go."
Oh my goodness. That was an amazing match. And then yeah, amazing memory. Won our
Yeah,
first NCAA game ever and then got smoked the next
I
uh
don't remember that game.
well, we won't talk about that one. Um the second match I want to talk about was your career high in blocks. Do you know what game that
Ooh,
is? Or
I
how
don't
many
know that
blocks
one.
you had?
I have no
Number
idea.
of blocks you had was the best number ever, 11.
11. I was going to say
That's
either 11 or 13. It was one of our
my number.
numbers.
Yep.
Okay.
11. It was versus Stevens. It
Oh.
was that same year. It was when we played there. We played them because we were playing each team twice, like at their place or our
Oh
place.
yes, yeah,
So we
yeah.
played so it was 4 sets, 11 blocks.
Wow, that's pretty
Um
impressive.
yeah, and then again you're too small to play at this level.
Yep.
Um reference there. Maybe that fueled the fire
A
a
little
little
bit,
bit
yeah.
just as your career as a middle. Um, but then lastly, you might remember this, the perfect game. Do you
Yep.
remember perfect hitting 1,000,
8 for 8.
went 8 for 8, and then
Yeah.
coach pulled you. Do
Yeah.
you remember
I'm
them
very happy he
scrambling?
pulled me.
And that was because I believe to it be recorded, like
Hmm.
statistically, it had to be 8 attempts.
Correct. Yep.
And so it was against Kings in 22. You went perfect 8 for 8.
Yep.
And then I remember Matt Marshall and Beachy just like scrambling, like, we got to get him out. We got to get him out. Which I thought you could have got 9 for 9, 10 for 10.
Oh,
Um, anyways, but do you remember that?
I do remember that one. Yeah, because
Okay.
it was because I knew I was hitting 1,000 the whole obviously the whole game, but I didn't know that you had to get 8 kills or at least 8 attempts or whatever it
Yeah.
was for hitting percentage. And then Caleb Miller came down after the game when he was still broadcasting them at that point. He came down and told me he's like, "Congrats, like you made the record book." I was like, "Oh, cool."
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. We had someone close this past year. to get him there.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Well, we had two actually.
really?
Casper and Zach.
Yeah. Wait, when was Casper's? I don't remember his.
It was at home. I don't remember what game it was, but I think he was 7 for 7. And then I don't think he had an error, but they just got like a crazy dig or something like that. I forget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I do remember Zach's though.
Zach
Um,
is, yeah, that was pretty memorable.
what were you the one who mentioned it to him?
He says I was the one that said it, but I don't think I would have like jinxed that.
Was he 7 for 7?
Yeah, I think he was 7 for 7 and then like ended up hitting like
He hit
200
it,
on the
and then
like
he hit the next one
he free
in the
balled a
net.
ball over
He
yeah, into the net and it's like counted as an error and they count that
it,
as an attempt.
it was a one-on-one ball. I remember that. And
Yeah.
he tried to go so sharp with it. And
Yep.
then he just looked right over at the bench. He's like, why did anyone tell me? And
Yeah. What was
so
that?
that's
Penn State Altoona? Is that where
Penn
that
State
was?
Altoona. Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I mean, the fact that you went 8 for 8 might not be touched again. That's just to show people, like, even though Nate was too small to be middle at collegiate level, to be a part of the first All American class, second team All Conference that year,
There you go.
and just
Yep.
to
Don't
put
forget
up
that.
stats like that. I mean, speed, man. Can't,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to beat that. Oh, what was okay? You have to share the story of. Do you remember in Sawyer the one day when Matt Marshall was teaching us or wanted us to just run the one ball so fast, where he had me setting to the ceiling and you
Yes.
middles to
Standing on a
cut the ball
box.
off.
And it
Well,
was
that and then we tried jumping too.
oh right after it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then Mason tried.
yeah. Well, because Mason, he played middle in high school for a little bit, blah, blah, blah.
Or he
Middle is
got
the
sent a
easiest
four ball and
position.
just hit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, gosh. Well, I just want to end with a couple questions here because our peasant Zoom, not our Zoom premium, is running out.
All good.
One, speaking to your relationship with you and Liv,
Yeah.
um, I think it takes a lot to stick with someone that long,
Mm.
especially in today's day and age where dating is more like shopping. And so, can you kind of speak to both your relationships? I mean, first, how you met and just started dating to kind of maybe a small timeline here or there throughout the years
Yeah.
until you got married.
Yeah. So I always say we went on our first date freshman year of high school, and then we went to the York County Fair, and then it was kind of just like a little double
Mm-hmm.
date, whatever. And then she decided she wasn't ready for a boyfriend, so she broke up with me. And then sophomore year, I mean, we were always like kind of like friends of friends. Like we'd always see each other out on like Friday nights or something like that. And then we kind of just started talking again our sophomore year of high school, and kind of just kept seeing each other. We went to like neighboring high schools, so we didn't really see each other much throughout the week. So it's kind of just like hanging out on weekends and stuff like that. And then obviously we're the same year. She's a year older than me. She's 23. I'm 22. Um, but we're the same grade. And she once we got to that like college search process, it was a little weird because we had been dating for like 2.5 years, and it's like what or is this serious? Like that obviously like that's serious for high school, but it's like how long is this going to go type thing. So
Right.
ultimately, we decided to do the college search separately, and so we kind of like there were weekends where she'd go and I wouldn't really know what college she went to visit. And it was like she's like, "Oh, I'm going to Philly to look at some schools this weekend," or "I'm going to Pittsburgh or this or that." And at that point, my mind was still on volleyball, so it was like the Messiah Alvernia Stevenson, like your typical
Yeah.
Mac local stuff. And and then we both kind of she figured out where she wanted to go first, which ended up being Messiah. I hate to ruin that for you guys, but just kind of jumped to the end of the story there. But so she figured out where she wanted to go first, and then I eventually settled on Messiah, not settled on Messiah, decided on Messiah, and then
Mm.
we kind of got together and was like, all right, where are you going? Messiah, Messiah is like, oh, okay, like we obviously this is both where we both want to go, so let's just make it work type thing. And that, I mean, that kind of made me a little nervous because at that point I wasn't too strong in my faith, and it was like, well, I kind of wanted to see what was out there. I wanted to go have fun on the weekends, hang out with see what's out there type thing. And once we got to Messiah, I was like, I don't want to, I don't want to have to hang out with you on the weekends, but like I was obviously we're still dating type thing, and so it was we kind of branched out a little bit, made our own friends, but still like we'd get Lottie together 3 4 times a week or whatever, and hang out and study together and stuff like that. And I mean, freshman year just went really well, and we just continued. It's like this is just great. Why stop? Um, and then obviously the whole ring by spring plays a big factor into it, which actually I beat. It was ring by fall of
Let's
senior
go.
year. So, and then yeah, it was now we're married for a couple months now. It's
Couple
going
months.
great. Yeah,
You
that
don't
was a
have
lot
the
of fun.
exact days numbered?
No, we don't. We
The
lost that
best
count already.
moments of your life being
Yeah.
married.
At that point, well, she still wants to celebrate like our dating anniversary. It's like, no, we're not dating anymore. We're married. Like, but yeah, no, the wedding that was a lot of fun. I know you sadly couldn't make it, but that was a great time. It was very Christ centered, which is very cool. I loved that aspect of it. Had a bunch of fun with all our friends, family. Went on a honeymoon to Punta Cana. That was a great
Let's
time.
go.
Yeah, went to the Secrets Resort down there and was like all inclusive. That was a lot of fun. And then we got back on like a Saturday at midnight, and her first shift was like Monday morning. So that was a quick turnaround for her. But I
Yeah.
had already been working at that point, so it wasn't as rough for me. But yeah, no, it's marriage is great. It's awesome. So
And that time being together, one, wasn't always easy. No. Um, Two, I'm sure there are a lot of hard things that needed to be worked through, kind of figured out through that dating process.
yeah,
Um, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Or
I mean, I
would
think
you?
that it's
Okay.
just gonna happen when you're
Yeah,
with someone for that long, regardless.
yeah.
Um,
Um, no, I think your guys' story is a good testament to, I mean, just commitment to that, but two, just this idea of, I mean, here's the non-married guy speaking in
right.
there, right? I think a lot of time, and maybe this speaks to the younger guys listening to this who are looking for that relationship, who are looking for sometimes or
Mhm.
something like that. It's like a lot of times you are looking for the finished sculpture
Right.
when you should be looking for, a piece of marble.
Hmm.
You're saying like if you're looking for the ideal spouse, anything that is perfect already,
Yep.
then maybe I don't know, you won't find that. But I'm sure for you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, of like there's a lot of things figuring out and working through, like you said, even schools, colleges being one of those hurdles.
Hmm.
And did you know back then that it was going to end in marriage? I don't know, maybe you had an idea or not,
Yeah.
but well,
Oh,
I wish we had more time, and
all
maybe
good.
we'll get back on here later. But well, I appreciate you taking time out of your night to hop on here and kind of share a little bit about yourself, about your experience with Messiah, and little bit about your marriage and relationship with Liv. If you are on Instagram, everybody follow Bobo Fitness,
There you go.
um, Nate's Instagram page. You'll learn a lot of good tips and tricks there. Um, I follow it. I learn a lot. Occasionally, I'll have questions up on his stories that you can interact with and answer as well. And then, quick side note, um, we do have an alumni retreat coming up end of January. Keep an eye out for that.
Hmm.
We post it to Instagram if you follow us there. But if not, more details to come. So check your inboxes, text messages, and social medias.
Yeah.
Um, But Nate, again, thank you for taking
Thank
time
you.
out. We're
Yeah.
excited just kind of going through this to introduce and incorporate just like, hey, who are some of these guys who went through this program?
Hmm.
Um, so appreciate it, man.
Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Of
We'll
course.
talk to you.